go. Hello, everybody. This is the 26th of March, and my name is Terry Newberry, and I am standing in for Wendy Ben today. She's on a little bit of a vacation, which, yay, Wendy, we're glad you're having fun. And we are on week 5 of the 6 Weeks to Success program, and I am going to start the screen sharing and kind of go through the slides. And I believe this is something that you're all accustomed to, so this won't be as a surprise. And right now, I believe we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people on our Zoom meeting, and we're going to start right now. So here we go. All right, can everybody see that?
Yes.
All right, so 6 Weeks to Success. This is week 5, and we are all glad that you're here. And so you made it. This means if you're watching or you're watching the recording that you have been participating, and congratulations to you for putting the time in and the dedication to get this far into the program. We're so excited that you're here. And let's talk a little bit about what you've learned so far. So does anybody have any questions about the conducting an interview? That is something we want to make sure that you're comfortable with. Do you feel prepared to do it easily? Are you comfortable with it? Is this something that you need some extra help or thoughts on? Because that's what we're here for. We can answer your questions. We can discuss how to make a conducting interview feel comfortable and how to invite people to that interview and get them there. So how are you feeling on that? So just real quick, just kind of give a shout out on a scale of 0 to 10, with 0 being I'd really rather gnaw off my left arm than to conduct an interview, and 10 being, hey, I got this. I'm really comfortable with it. Where do you find yourself on a scale of 0 to 10?
I'm like at a 0 or a 1.
Oh my goodness, Courtney, we need to work on that. Okay.
I know. I'm going to a party with Wendy to watch her in about a week or 2. So.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for your honesty, because you know what? It would have just been really easy to just say, oh, I'm a 5, I'm somewhere in the middle, but thank you for that honesty, and we'll discuss that a little bit. Anybody else other than Courtney?
I would say I'm like a 3.
A 3. Okay, so you need a little help with that as well, and a little bit of confidence boosting there. Okay. All right, Tara, who else?
I'd say 3 or 4.
Okay, so this is an area that needs a little bit of work, I hear. And who said the 3 or 4? Who was that last person?
Shell?
Hey, Shell. All right. Okay. Anybody else? All right, so let's come back to that at the end. That is clearly something that we need to have a little discussion about, okay? And I'm happy to do that with you. Sometimes it helps just to have a different perspective, although I think that Wendy and I have very similar perspectives on things. Just hearing it again sometimes and getting confirmation that what you heard before, kind of gels. So we'll come back to that, all right? Customer service. Let's discuss customer service and how that leads to future business, okay? And again, I'm going to ask you this. When you think about customer service, where do you think you stand on that? All right, before we ever get into the discussion, how do you think you rate in the world of customer service, with 0 being, oh my gosh, I'm just terrible. I forget things. I forget to follow up. And 10 being, my customers come back to me because they know that they can count on me when it comes to following up with the things that they need help with. Anybody?
I need to follow up more.
Oh, who was that? Desiree, what'd you say?
Like a 3, 2. I need to follow up more. I'm bad at that.
All right. So what do you give yourself?
2.
Okay, we can work on that. That's actually easy. All right, that's an easy one. All right, who else has customer service? How do you rate yourself?
I agree with Desiree. I need to work on that more.
Okay, all right. So Tara, where do you see yourself? Give yourself a number.
I would say a 2 or 3.
Oh my goodness. Okay, all right. Anybody else?
Yeah, I'd say helping people with questions that they have and everything. I'd be like a 6 or a 7, because I've been able to help them and get them situated, get them taken care of. But as far as follow-ups, I'd say a 4. I need to get better at doing that and find the time for it.
Okay. So Shell, is that you again?
Yeah, that's me again.
Okay, so 4 with a follow-up and much higher for answering questions.
Yeah, because I found that, I'm real comfortable talking to people about it because I've only started in November, and I'm starting to learn more about the products and being able to answer their questions.
Okay, excellent. All right, thank you for your honesty, because the fact is that I think for most of us, it's pretty easy to answer a question when someone asks us directly. It's the being the go-to person for customer service that takes a little more effort and time. And so when you think about customer service and you think about what sets you apart from the rest, you really have to think about the fact that if they like you, they remember you. And so they'll come back to you and they'll think of you as their Pampered Chef lady, right? And that's what we really want, is that all of our customers see us as someone that they can trust and they can relate to and that they can contact whenever they have a problem. And so along those lines, I want to tell you a little quick story here. I'm actually kind of boring, but I've driven the same kind of car. I've bought 4 of the same car. And every time I think I'm going to get a different car, I actually have a really hard time. And the reason is because the person that I buy my car from is so awesome at customer service. And every year on my birthday, she sends me a birthday card. And every Christmas, she sends me a Christmas card. And every year on the anniversary of when I purchased a car from her, she sends me an email that says, hey, I hope you're enjoying your car. It's a Murano, by the way. I hope you're enjoying your Murano. And if you have any questions about it at all, I'm here for you. Just wanted to do a touch-in and say hi. I think it's fun that it's the anniversary. So what could you recognize as an anniversary with your Pampered Chef business? When could you do those touch-in calls?
Show dates.
Pardon me?
Show dates.
Show dates, exactly. And the home office even helped us out. We get an email that says, it's been a year since Susie hosted her party. And they alert us that they've alerted Susie. Well, recently I was at a party and I had a host who told me that the person that typically did her show had not contacted her. And she said, I'm kind of worried about her. Do you know her? And well, it turns out this person had moved from Texas to North Dakota. So like literally across the country, right? And she said, every year for the last 5 years, I get this email from the home office and then I immediately hear from Kelly. And I didn't hear from Kelly. And so I was kind of worried because I always schedule my show after she calls me. How many of your customers, of your past hosts, are waiting on you to call them because they got that email and they're assuming you're going to follow up and you don't? Okay, so that's a really good example. So the annual anniversary of a host party is a perfect time. When else might you follow up with a customer so that you become their Pampered Chef person?
Well, you could reach out to them on their birthdays like your car person does.
You could reach out to them on their birthdays. You could also do the 222 system, and that's what we're going to talk about here. Does anybody know what the 222 system is for customer service? Anybody?
2 weeks, 2
2
months.
days.
2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months.
That's it. 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. Okay. And so within 2 days after the show, you want to send everyone who attended the party an email that says thank you. Just basically thank you for attending, and wasn't Susie's party fun, and let them know a little bit about the upcoming host special, and just kind of plant seeds, any upcoming host specials, any upcoming or any current customer consultant specials, because frankly, you're talking about it at your shows. They're socializing, they're eating, they're talking to their friends, and they may or may not be really in tune to what you're saying. And when you do this follow-up and you send them a text message attachment or an email attachment with the current specials or the upcoming specials, they're a lot more likely to pay attention, right? So when you do this, you just basically want to send a copy of the special and thank them. So in 2 days, you're really just thanking them, and you're acknowledging how much fun you had at Susie's party. And you're also then recognizing and giving a pat on the back to Susie, okay? So then 2 weeks after the show, your main goal is to make sure they got their products. right? So at this point, hopefully the party is closed. You should really be trying to close your show within 4 days. Hopefully the party is closed, and you're just really making sure that everybody has received their products and encouraging, everyone, once they've gotten their products, if they have any questions or need recipe support, that you're there for them, as well as the idea that they could host their own party. Because now that they have their products, they may be lamenting the item that they didn't order, and now they wish they had, okay? And then 2 months after the show, the idea 2 months after the show is just to say, are you enjoying your product? Have you been using it? Is it meeting your expectations? This is a really critical time because a lot of times these people have not taken their products out of their boxes, or they are really enjoying them. And so this is a time when you want to ask them if they've gotten your newsletter. You want to talk about their products, if they're enjoying them, and if they would like to see a catalog or to know what the new specials are. Because at this point, enough time has gone by, a couple of paychecks have gone by, and they have maybe a little more spending money, and they also have new specials. We definitely have new specials, and it's a different pay period. So 2 months after the show is really a great time to follow up as well, to make sure they're enjoying their products. If they're not enjoying their products or they're not using them, you want to offer recipe support. Okay, that's really big. Okay, so we've already talked about all this, but it's basically a matter of checking in and making sure they're happy and satisfied with their products, and if they need recipe support or if they would like to know what's on special this month. Okay, and it's not high pressure. This is just simply a conversation. Okay, this is just a check-in call, and in fact, those are the words I use when I call. I actually say, "Hey, Susie, this is Terry Newberry with the Pampered Chef, and I was just checking in to make sure you're still enjoying that simple slicer. I know that you had purchased it because you make a lot of salads, and I just wanted to make sure it was meeting your needs and see if you had any questions at all about how to use that product. I'll be happy to send you some videos or answer any questions you have, or even send you some recipes. With the spring approaching and summer approaching, lots of veggies are available, and that product is just perfect for that. So let me know what you think." So that's the message I would leave, or when I talk to them, of course, I would ask them if they have any questions. Okay? So we're still working on our skills, and I know that you've been working on the 4 skills: belief, passion, skill, and will. And is everybody really tuned into this and feel comfortable with the four pillars of success? Everybody okay with it? You understand it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, here we go. So skills are the major component. This is what we're talking about in terms of knowing and understanding. Skills are actually the easiest thing for you to be taught. That's the easiest thing for you to learn from Wendy or Kathy or me, because we can teach you everything we know about how to sell or how to host coach or how to book a party or how to recruit. That really is the easiest part, because we just have to know that you want to know how to do it, and we can take you with us to a party, we can send you videos, we can really help you with this, because the skill is what's going to increase your paycheck. Does anybody have any questions about the skill that we talked about tonight that leads to customer service and effective customer service? Anybody have any thoughts or questions about the skill for customer service? No? Are you still with me?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Sometimes I talk fast, and I also feel a little pressure here because I know it's supposed to be done in 30 minutes. So I'm like, going fast. Okay. All right. So let's talk about homework for this week. Customer loyalty. Oh my goodness. Customer loyalty is so important. Customer loyalty is what happens when someone says on Facebook, does anybody know a Pampered Chef Lady? Or when you're at work, or someone has a question at their work and they refer you to them. Okay, it's what means referrals, or keeping people coming back, or keeping customers coming back, keeping hosts coming back. And even if they're at a party with another consultant, it's what makes them book their party with you instead of the other consultant. So we really, really, really want customer loyalty. Have you ever heard about restaurants and how easy it is to get customers to come in the first time, but how difficult it is to get customers to come back over and over again. And yet that's what makes or breaks a restaurant or a retail establishment. It's repeat customers. And that right there is customer loyalty. So we want to do everything in our power to develop customer loyalty. One is to connect. We want our hosts and customers to know how to connect with us. And that can be just simply, sending text messages, sending messages on Facebook, sending emails, making phone calls, anything to connect. So it's not just about sending out information about what's on special this month, but maybe in fact it's about sending a message to someone that says, happy birthday. I actually have and I'll put it on the bin and I'm sorry, I've drawn a total blank. I know it's the Kathy. I know all the directors, so it's Wendy, Kathy, and Christina's Facebook group. Your entire team group. I have a picture that I can post for you that says "Happy Birthday" from your Pampered Chef Lady, and you can put an extra little note with it. It can be just sending a text message out of the blue. I thought of you because, but it's just having a personal connection. It's also helping and appreciating. So that would be sharing recipes, giving ideas, checking in and saying, hey, how are you enjoying that simple slicer? And if they say, well, I never really use it, would you like some ideas on that? Maybe even inviting them over or doing a video to show them how to use it. You can also expand on possibilities, share upcoming specials, open dates on your calendar, hosting and signing. And those can be at anniversaries or maybe when the new products come out, whenever there's kind of an excuse to do it. So maybe it's a year later or the new catalog comes out and, hey, Susie, I know how much you love Pampered Chef, and I just wanted to let you know the new catalog has come out. Or maybe it's when the outlet has been updated. So, and then also follow up when their wish list goes on sale. Are you all doing the wish list? Are you encouraging your customers to fill out what's on their wish list? Because you can absolutely, like when stoneware in April is on special, anybody who wants the deep cover baker, this is their chance, or any other stoneware piece. So there's a video there, and did everybody capture that video? There's a video that shows you some really good information on that very topic. Okay, so for your homework this week, I want you to be really, really, really in tune to developing customer service and contacting past hosts and past customers, and really, doing with that acronym of chef, really reaching out to them in order to become their official Pampered Chef ladies, as it were, or man, or consultant, but their Pampered Chef person. All right. So, how many shows will you commit to booking this week? Anybody? Who's going to be working on bookings this week? Just shout it out.
I need to try.
You need to try.
Me.
So what about instead of saying I need to try, you say I am going to, right? And this is when I'm going to do it. So how many bookings would you like to get this week if there were a magic booking fairy and you could open your calendar and it would be as full as you wanted it to be for the next 4 weeks? How many bookings would that be, Desiree?
Oh, if a magical fairy would let me have any number, 6.
You can do that. You can do that. I absolutely believe it. And I think you just need to connect with Kathy or Wendy or me individually, but certainly we can talk you through that. And I do think that there's some awesome messages that you can, do the green dot thing on Facebook or send personal text messages. I know that the fact of the matter is when I decide that I need 6 bookings, and I decide that I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to getting 6 bookings, it happens. And so that's what I would have you do first of all, Desiree, and anybody else who wants this, is to just really concentrate on when will you do that? Will it be Monday? Will it be tonight? You're already on the phone now. You're already, kind of in tune now. Who could you send messages to? Who could you call? Who could you follow up with? And just flat out ask them. Let them know what the specials are and ask them if they would do a party. I believe it works. I know it works. So I believe in you. I know you can do it. Okay. And I've got my fingers crossed and my toes crossed. And besides that, I don't even need them to be crossed. I already know you can do it. Okay. All right. So how many host coaching calls are you going to make this week? Anybody?
I've got one that I need to make for
Okay.
a past host. She had a party, and a lot of the people that she invited, they didn't have money. They were waiting for their tax returns and all that stuff. So she is doing one for me in April, and that's, because she wanted the stoneware special. So I've got to connect with her tomorrow.
Perfect. Perfect. And you know what? Now's the perfect time to get that on the calendar. And there's all kinds of fun things you could do for spring. You could do a thrill of the grill. You could do keep the heat out of the kitchen. And Florida is just like Texas. Now we're starting to, want to not have the air conditioner running as much as possible, even though it's kind of impossible not to now. But so yes, so excellent. Very good. So I want you to really look at your calendar. Who do you need to contact? Who do what calendar dates do you have open? Who do you want to contact? Okay. And then also next week, you'll discuss how many bookings you got, how many leads you got, and the follow-up on that. Okay. All right. So now that's all that I have. We've been through the slides, so we can say that we did what was required of us. And now we're going to talk a little bit. Let's go back a little bit about the when we were talking about the interview and your feelings of a little bit of concern, not feeling comfortable with that. And I just want to ask you, and we'll discuss this till we get cut off. Okay. Because I think that we only have about 30 minutes before we're going to get cut off with Zoom anyway. But a little bit about that. So what is it, do you think, that holds you back or makes you feel uncomfortable about the interview process? So anybody, just kind of shout it out. What is it that you feel a little bit uncomfortable when it comes to the interview and the interview process? And what made you say that you were only a 2 or a 4 or a 3 when it came to the interview process? Does anybody want some help? Practice with it? Is there anything I can help you with?
Mine is I'm just kind of afraid of being too pushy, because I don't want to be that pushing, annoying sales lady. But,
Okay.
I want to be able to help people and talk to them and be comfortable and then be comfortable too.
Okay, awesome. I totally understand that. I don't want to be pushy either. In fact, that is I remember when I first started with Pampered Chef telling my recruiter and director, who is Becky Ishii, that the day that I felt I was chasing people down and felt pushy was the day I was leaving. And here I am 24 years later. So I will tell you this, and that is that you have to take yourself out of the equation, Shell. So when I think about going to a party, and I think about the fact that we're just going to use a round number of 10, okay, because it's just an easy round number. And if there's 10 people in a room, I can't tell because they don't have a button on their forehead that tells me when they have a lot of debt. And they don't have a button on their forehead that tells me when they would like to go on a vacation but can't afford it. And they don't have a button on their forehead that tells me when they have a colicky baby and are kind of desperate, for a little adult time. So I also don't know, if their car is on its last leg and they're afraid every day that they go to work that their car is going to break down, but they can't afford a new one. So here's my philosophy, and I'll just throw this out there with you, and that is that you don't know what someone else's story is because they're very often not willing to put it out there because they're embarrassed or they're uncomfortable or they're just, not really willing to share that information necessarily. And so that's exactly what I say at a show. I don't really know what your situation is, and I don't really know if some of you, have a debt that's weighing heavy on your mind. Maybe it's a student loan debt. Maybe it's a credit card debt. I don't know who here needs a new car and can't afford the car payment. I don't know who would desperately love to take a vacation this summer, but can't afford it. But what I do know is that if this is something that might be interesting to you and you're looking for a way to make an extra $400 or $500 a month while only leaving your home or working from your computer and doing Facebook parties about 4 or 5 times a month, I could help you with that. This may be something that Pampered Chef can really help you with. And so if you're interested in that, I'm going to ask you at checkout if that's something you'd like more information about. And if you would, I would love to just sit down and answer your questions for you. And then because I've told them during the show, whether it's a live cooking party or whether it's a virtual party, either one doesn't matter. I'm going to put those words out there. I don't know who has these needs, but what I do know is that Pampered Chef can really help. If you're looking for $400 or $500 a month and you're willing to either run 4 or 5 Facebook parties a month or host 4 or so, I'm staying, hold on, I've got a message there. Okay. And if you are willing to host some live cooking shows and have a fun evening out, this could really solve your dilemma. And so then at every single person at checkout, whether it's virtual or whether it's live, I just ask them. So, Susie, I haven't had a chance to look at the door price slips yet, but I was just wondering if you would be interested in all about chatting about the Pampered Chef as a business opportunity. Would an extra $400 or $500 a month come in handy for you? That's all I say. They're either going to say yes or no. If they say no, I say, I totally understand. Here's my business card. And if you know of someone that might benefit from an extra $400 or $500 a month or even more, but just as a bare minimum entry-level consultant, if they're interested in starting and have that kind of financial need, I would love it if you would make a referral for me. So if they say no, I give them my card for a referral. If they say yes, then I say, that's awesome. I could meet tomorrow for coffee at fill in the blank. I actually prefer Panera because their Wi-Fi is easy to get on. But, so I'm going to start over again. So if you'd like to, we could meet tomorrow at Panera tomorrow, anytime that's, convenient for you. And I could answer your questions. So we could just chat and I'll buy you a cup of coffee. Or we could make a phone appointment. So the phone appointment option is going to be more for people that you meet online or that you are chatting with, via text message or online, and meeting in person would be someone at a live cooking show. And so following up is just a matter of making an appointment. So would that work for you? And I try to do it the very next day or 2 days if I can't do it the next day or she can't do it the next day. But the main idea is just to have a follow-up date. And you know what? They may or may not be interested in the end, but you'll never know if you don't have a chance to sit down with them and chat with them, whether it's on the phone or in person, and see if what we have to offer matches what their needs are. So what do you think? Does that help at all? Did anything about that?
Yes, I really like your idea that if they say no, just ask them if they know someone, that, might could use the extra income, because it's a possibility, they could have a friend or family member that might need it.
Right. And you know what? I am a referral. So I started with Pampered Chef. A friend of mine went to a Pampered Chef party and she heard the person, she heard Becky talking about it. And she asked, and Becky said, if you or someone would like information, I'll give you my card and, blah, blah, blah. And so I can still remember the day after the party, Jackie called me and said, hey, I've got this card and I couldn't help thinking of you. Now, I don't think Jackie would have thought of me if Becky hadn't said, asked if you know anybody. And so I think that most of us, if we think about it, know someone who's either unhappy in a job or could use extra income or is drowning in debt or talks about wishfully about taking a vacation. And those are the people that we're looking for referrals for. When I go to get my haircut, on her station, the style station, there's a little sign that's framed that says, your referral is the best compliment you can pay me. And I take that to heart. That's not high pressure. That's just saying, if you know someone who might benefit from what we have to offer, I would be flattered if you think of me, and hand them a card. And so, and also in all of my host coaching material, I always, include the it's not really a coupon anymore, but it's for lack of a better term, a coupon, for if you start a business. And I always put a Post-it note that says, if you know anyone who's looking for a little extra income or that you think would be interested in the Pampered Chef, I would appreciate your referral. And so I put that on all of my host packets as well, whether they're live cooking shows or whether they are virtual parties. Okay. All right. Anything else? What else makes you uncomfortable about the interview process?
I mean, mostly what you've already covered, and just lack of experience. You just got to practice.
You know what? You're absolutely right. That's what it is. I'm going to give you a phrase, and then we'll call it quits for the night. But this is a phrase that I use that I think if you write it down and practice it, you'll realize how easy it is to say. So when you meet with someone, whether it's on the phone or in person, doesn't matter, okay, and you're chatting with them, if you'll just say, Susie, this seems like something you're really interested in. Do you have questions for me about how to get started, or are you just ready to order your kit and get started? And so if she says, well, actually, I have these questions. Great, let me answer those for you. You go through her list of questions, you answer her questions, and then you say, okay, so how are you feeling about things? Do you feel like you have your questions answered? Are you ready to order your kit? That's where a lot of people come undone when it comes to getting, recruiting and getting started. They don't ever ask the question, are you ready to order your kit? So you ask, do you have any questions for me? Answer the question. That's great. Do you have any other questions for me? Answer the question. And then when they say, well, no, I think you answered my question. Great. Are you ready to order your kit? If they say no, or they're going, I don't really know, I'm not sure. And you can tell they're kind of hemming and hawing, but they're not saying, they're not really coming up with a question. At that point, I would say, so Tara, I feel like we answered your questions, but I can still see that you have some hesitations. What's holding you back? And at this point, you zip your lips because you got to let them talk. Because a lot of times, the things that they ask you, the questions that they ask you up front are the easy ones. How much does it cost to get started? What comes in the kit? How do you get paid? When do you get paid? The real questions are deep down inside. And you've got to kind of have a rapport with them before they're comfortable to say, what if I fail? That's what they're really thinking, whether they come out and use those words or not. What if I don't? Here are things that mean, what if I fail? What if I don't get any bookings? What if nobody will host a party for me? What if I, don't know what I'm doing? Those are all basically, in a nutshell, what if I fail? And that's what everyone's real concern is, oh my gosh, what if I try this and I'm not any good at it? Or what if I try this and I fail? But it's hard to say that to someone who's basically a stranger, and even, frankly, it's kind of hard to say that to a friend, right? So you've got to answer there's kind of obvious questions sometimes to get to the heart of that. And the way to do it is just to say, Tara, I feel like we answered all your questions, but I can tell from your body language that something's holding you back. Tell me more about that. What's holding you back? And then just be quiet and let them talk. Because the what's holding them back part is the real question. That's the real hurdle that you've got to overcome. And a lot of times they'll say, what if I don't get bookings? Or what if I can't do this? What if I'm not good at it? I don't think I can be as good as you are. And at that point, you know what I say? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You'll never know if you don't try. I mean, that's what it boils down to. My husband had to say that to me when I started. My husband's words to me were, nothing ventured, nothing gained. You'll never know if you don't try. And those are the exact words I use when someone tells me that they're hesitant. Okay. So with that, I think we're going to stop because I believe that we have less than a minute left. So good night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. And I really appreciate you hanging there with us. And everybody tell Wendy that you missed her.
Miss you.
We miss you, Wendy.
They didn't really, Wendy, but I made them tell you that. So just in case she watches it. So anyway, bye everybody. Hey, I hope I'll be there. I'll be in Jacksonville, I think in June. So I look forward to seeing you then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.